After the death of her husband, a widow decided to build a mansion. Using her vast wealth, she built it for herself and her visitors. She kept building room after room, stairways leading nowhere, doors opening to nothing, a horizontal elevator. Oh, and her visitors? They were ghosts. In tonight's episode, we're talking about the Winchester House.
Good evening, dear listeners, and welcome to They Come Before Dawn. I am your host, Lawrence.
And I am your co-host, Ray.
And in this night's episode, we'll be talking about the Winchester Mystery House. The Winchester Mystery House.
Mystery.
It really sounds very pleasant.
Yes,
to
it
say.
sounds very mysterious.
So, Ray, how are you?
I'm good, yes. Like I told you already, I had quite some nightmares this week.
Yeah, you had a rough week.
But I'm good now. I finished my research on the Winchester House, so we're good to go.
It was very interesting. The topic was very interesting.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I kind of fell into a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Because we'll be talking about the Winchester Mystery House,
Mm-hmm.
but the Winchester Mystery House obviously has a lot to do with the Winchester rifles, and I sort of fell into a whole rabbit hole with pre-modern firearms and muskets and flintlock rifles and obviously Winchesters then.
Yeah.
So I'll be talking about that in a bit, but it's a very interesting topic.
That's up to you, because I don't know much about weapons.
Well, maybe that's for the best. Because,
Oh.
I mean, no, I don't mean it like that. I mean, maybe it's better if I explain everything about the rifles, if I'll explain it to someone who has no idea what I'm talking about. I think you will find it very interesting then.
Yes, that might be. Indeed.
Okay?
And you're also talking about Sarah Winchester herself,
Yeah,
right?
I'll be talking about
Yes.
the woman herself. The
Yes,
women.
The women. There
I'll
were
be-
multiple Sarahs.
No, I'll be talking about the woman herself.
Yes.
And then obviously you'll take the part of the house
I'll be
itself.
taking the part of the house, details of the house, and some of the hauntings
Yeah.
in the house.
I already have a feeling that it'll be a Ray heavily featured episode.
A Ray heavily featured episode.
Like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
previous episode, once I started talking about the different vampires, that took quite a long time. And when I was editing, I had a feeling like, crap, I'm talking so much and so long. I should have maybe not elaborated that much, because I felt that I overshadowed you a bit.
Oh no, I didn't mind at all.
Oh, you didn't mind it?
No, I thought I told a great story of, a true story of
Oh, yeah,
Mercy
your-
Brown
yeah.
and Sarah Tillinghast. So
Yeah, your stories were great, but I
no,
had
I
a
thought
feeling
it
that...
was a perfect combination.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
maybe tonight will be the same then.
maybe, or maybe not. Maybe I am taking the spotlight tonight.
It wouldn't be that bad. I think a lot of people would enjoy that.
No clue.
Alright, should we begin then?
Yes.
So, Ray, you know me. Context is everything to me, especially in such a vast historical story like this one. So, imagine this. The year is 1865. It's the battle at Allatoona Pass. It's a battle in the American Civil War.
Okay.
You know, when the North and the South fought each other.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the first thing you heard.
No, not the first
No.
thing, but I am not
You have
familiar
no-
with
yeah.
the history.
You're not familiar with the war. So, an entire Confederate battalion, which consists of roughly 400 to 800 men. The number it's quite large, 400 to
Yeah.
800. It's because a battalion was made out of 4 to 8 companies. And there were 100 men in a single company.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So I didn't find any specifics. I didn't really look that deeply into it. But the numbers I found was that it was an entire battalion, which is a little bit smaller than the regiment. Regiment is 1,000 men, so battalion is a little bit smaller. Could be between 400 and 800 men.
Okay.
So an entire Confederate battalion they were crushed by one company of the 7th Illinois Union Army. Union Regiment. That company was made up of 52 men.
Oh.
So 52 men fought 400 to 800 men.
Wow.
And they won.
Oh, they won?
They won.
Wow.
In Montana?
What the hell?
Yeah. In Montana, 2 prospectors protected themselves against 40 Blackfoot people, so we're a Native American tribe.
Oh.
These feats, they were extraordinary at the time, and they could only be done with the Winchester rifle. So before and during the American Civil War, soldiers and frontiersmen used muskets. You know what a musket is?
No.
No. So a musket is a long rifle,
Oh, okay.
a single shot long rifle.
Single shot?
Single shot. So you fired the rifle,
Yeah.
and then you had to reload.
Ah, okay, yeah, okay.
And then the reload in itself took about 15 seconds because there was a whole procedure
Oh.
stuck to it.
Okay.
So muskets and their predecessor, the flintlock rifle, which took even longer. What's the thing that need to happen? Like I'll use a musket as an example because a musket is really easy, quotation marks. Soldiers had a pouch with them, the ammunition pouch, and it was filled with like small paper sacks. And that sacks, there's like just like a paper, cartridge. You could call it a cartridge,
Okay.
but it's just like a paper baggie,
Okay.
and that had gunpowder in it,
Yeah.
plus a musket ball.
Okay.
So not the bullets that we use today. The sphere, no, the bullet
long
shot.
Bullets,
No.
yeah. Okay.
Like just a ball.
Okay.
Yeah, a ball. So you took the paper in your mouth and you tore it off. You took a bit of gunpowder and you poured it into the pan, which is where the hammer strikes.
Okay.
And then you close the pan, put the rifle upright, dumped the rest of the powder and the musket ball into the barrel, dumped the rest of the paper with it as well, because it stopped the gunpowder from falling out. You took the ramming rod, which is under the barrel, there's a long metal ramming rod, and then you rammed that into the barrel
Jesus.
a couple of times, took it out, put it back, took aim, fired, and then the whole process repeated again. So
Wow, okay.
it took quite a long time to reload,
Yeah.
and you had to do
exactly.
it one after the other.
Oh my god, that's not
No.
ideal.
And what mostly happened in the Civil War is, like, let's say a company of 100 men, they wanted to fire on a different company of other men. They all lined up. So 100 men stood in a line, took aim, shot, and then all
Yeah.
reloaded,
And
whilst the enemy did the same.
oh, okay. Oh, well, the enemy did. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you were gonna say something else. I thought like 100 men would line up,
Yeah,
and when they reload, the next 100 men.
that's also a tactic that was
Oh,
used,
okay.
but
Because that's like
yeah,
smart.
that's if you have more than. I mean,
Well,
probably in a company that would happen as well, but I didn't look into the strategies that much. The rabbit hole didn't go down that far.
okay. Well,
But it was something that I was thinking about. So a musket took 15 seconds to reload. A flintlock rifle was its predecessor. Apparently took even longer. I hear that it took about 2 minutes to reload.
oh my god.
So-
2 minutes is really
That's
like in 15 seconds you can already be
yeah.
shot.
That's
2
a
minutes
deadly
is
amount of time.
problematic.
Yeah, that it is. But a competent musketeer could reload about 5 times a minute. So 15 seconds. If you're competent enough and you're capable of
Yeah.
reloading faster.
Okay.
So When Oliver Winchester and his company, the New Haven Arms, created the Henry rifle, that was revolutionary. So the Henry rifle was the predecessor to the Winchester rifle.
Okay.
The Henry rifle was capable of storing 15, I believe it was 15 cartridges. So 15, what we would call bullets at that time were called cartridges. So it was capable of storing 15 bullets.
Before having to reload.
Oh
wow, that's huge.
That's a huge difference.
Difference indeed. Wow.
So the company of the 7th Illinois, the 52 men fought off the battalion of the Confederate Army. They were all equipped with Henry rifles.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Oh, of course.
Wow.
It was also a gun that had its flaws. All of the ammunition was stored under the barrel, so you had the barrel where the bullet came out. Then you had a different barrel under it where you stored the ammo. Every time you pulled the trigger, you had to then pull a lever under it, which made these type of weapons a lever action rifle. The Winchester is a lever operated rifle. The Henry rifle was that as well. Not in the same degree as a Winchester. It looked very different.
I would have no clue.
No. But it had a lot of flaws. The 15 bullets in it. Every time you fired, you pulled the lever. A new bullet would be ready. Shot, reload, until all the cartridges were empty.
Still easier than...
Yeah, but you had to twist the underbarrel, then put in 15 new bullets, twist it back. It was very exposed. I mean, it was a half barrel. You could see the ammo in it, which made it possible for dirt and grime and soot to get in the rifle. The rifle would jam. It was a very flawed rifle, but it was revolutionary at the time.
Well, of course, if things get invented, like the prototypes today, they're always flawed.
Yeah. Well, the Winchester rifle fixed a lot of that. You had to reload. It wasn't in a barrel. It was still stored in a barrel, but the barrel was completely sealed off. You had to reload in a side panel of the gun, which was way easier. The side panel was also capable of being removed, so was easier for cleaning. The lever itself was of a higher quality metal. The Henry rifle was made out of brass. It was a completely metal gun, which if you fired 15 shots and then reloaded, your gun would be very hot because it's just explosions in there. It propels the bullet forward by an explosion, so that creates a lot of friction and a lot of heat. Winchester rifle had a wood stock, which would be difficult, way harder to conduct heat. So we had a lot of positive. It was a lot better than a Henry rifle. The progression in firepower, accuracy, and recoil was groundbreaking. It was. The gun had practically no recoil, so it didn't do a big jerk motion once you fired. It was very stable, it was very accurate, and it was very powerful. So the gun, the Winchester itself, got the nickname the gun that won the West. Because a lot of frontiersmen, a lot of soldiers, a lot of cowboys, they used that rifle with great success on the open frontier. If you think about a cowboy with a rifle, that's a Winchester.
The Winchester rifle.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture in a bit. So the gun could be used as a defense, but was also a quite capable hunting rifle. It was capable of taking down a buffalo, and buffaloes were hunted, well, to extinction. The American buffalo is extinct because of the Wild West.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. There used to be huge herds, thousands of buffaloes in the American prairie.
Really?
Yeah.
They're all gone?
Well, there are still some American buffaloes left, so the species isn't extinct, but they're in reservations,
Yeah, okay.
and they're in zoos. So they're
And
not.
they're,
I don't think they're any more wild American buffaloes.
Wow. Sad.
Huge
Yes,
animals,
They are.
a lot of meat, could sustain a lot of families who
Yes,
lived on the
of course.
frontier.
Of course, yeah. Of course, back then, like, if you had to kill an animal to survive, to eat it, I mean, it's part of nature.
Yeah.
Now it's not really.
Now it's different, but at
Now
that
it's
time,
different. But to kill the entire species though is a lot though.
yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna guess that a lot of people back then also did it for sports and not just for.
Yeah,
survival.
I think I heard about them being hunted for sport as well, and they made a pyramid with buffalo skulls,
No.
and I think the pyramid was 10 meters high.
Oh
Just a stack of buffalo skulls.
no! Like I mean, no.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
I don't get that.
yeah. It's sad. Let's not talk about it any further.
That's for different.
Back to the guns. So, the rifles were made in New Haven, Connecticut by the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. And the company was created by Oliver Winchester. He had 3 children with his wife, Jane Ellen Hope. So,
Jane Ellen Hope.
Jane Ellen Hope.
Oh, that's a really pretty name.
It's a very pretty name. They all have pretty names.
Huh.
They're high society.
Yeah, okay, I guess.
So, and Rebecca Winchester, William Worth Winchester, and Hannah Jane Winchester. Those were the 3 children. When Oliver passed away in 1880, ownership of his company passed to his son William. However, William died 1 year later from tuberculosis. So he left a big inheritance to his wife, Sarah Winchester.
Yes.
Her inheritance included $20 million, which would be about $550 million today,
That's a lot.
as well as 50% holding in the company, which amounts to $1,000 each day in revenue. That's about $27,000 in today's money.
Per day.
Every day in royalties.
Wow. That is really a lot.
She instantly became one of the wealthiest women in the world at that time.
Yeah. I know.
It's
I know
like
that.
Jeff Bezos, his wife, divorcing him. She's the
Who?
Jeff Bezos,
No clue.
the owner of Amazon.
Oh yeah, I did
Yes,
hear about
$190 billion, I believe.
that. Yeah.
And his wife divorced and got $90 billion. So that made her the richest
Jesus.
woman in the world.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's insane. That's
She-
a lot of money.
that's a lot of money.
Wow.
Okay. So, Sarah Winchester. Sarah Winchester was born Sarah Lockwood Pardee
Ah.
in the summer of 1839. There is no exact birth date.
I couldn't find one either.
It's so bizarre. I found a lot of sites who couldn't give,
No.
who also stated that they couldn't give an exact
No.
birth date.
A lot of sites even say 1840.
1840, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bit of a speculation.
Yeah.
I've seen 1838 as well.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's,
shifts a bit from one year to another.
but most say 39.
Yeah. She's born in New Haven, Connecticut, so where the arms company's from. She was the 5th of 7 children born to Leonard Pardee and Sarah Burns. So the Pardee were a respectable upper middle class family. Leonard, he was a successful carriage manufacturer. So he made a fortune during the Civil War supplying ambulances to the Union Army. So he made ambulances for the army.
Oh.
Yeah. So in the New Haven society, Sarah would be dubbed the Belle of New Haven. This was because she was considered very beautiful. She was fluent in Latin, French, Spanish, and Italian, and she had a talent for music.
Mhm.
So she's
Yeah.
a beautiful, intelligent girl.
A woman.
Well, girl. At that time, it was, I believe she was fluent before she was 16.
Okay, then she's indeed a girl.
She was a very talented woman.
Yeah, she does sound very talented indeed. And beautiful on top of that, and rich on top of that. I mean, wow.
You know, the University of Yale.
Yes, I have heard of it.
It's
from movies.
from movies, yeah.
Mainly.
It's like Harvard.
Yeah, it's Harvard or Yale. If
Yeah,
you
Harvard or
yeah.
Yale. So Yale is based in New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay.
So if you go to Yale University, you go to New Haven.
Mm-hmm.
At an early age, Sarah attended Yale's only female scholastic institute,
Mm-hmm.
the Young Ladies Collegiate Institute.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I understand why she was called the Belle of New Haven.
Yeah.
She was coincidentally classmates with Anne Rebecca Winchester. That's something I found out.
Yeah. I
so
think-
it's William's sister,
Oh yeah.
the man she's gonna
Yeah.
marry at that time a few years later.
Huh.
Yeah. I didn't find out if it played a part in their marriage or in their engagement.
I guess.
I mean, probably it played a role. I don't think might not be a big role, but probably the fact that her parents were upper middle class
Yeah.
and were known in New Haven society would have probably
Yeah.
made more sense, but it couldn't have hurt her.
In that time in America, were women still
Not allowed to vote,
no, that's not what I was gonna say.
but it is true.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Were the women in that time like still was it still an arranged marriage?
I
Or could they
believe
choose?
at that time they were capable of choosing if someone decides, I want to marry that man, that a woman.
And if the
could have
parents were
done it.
like, okay, he's respectful or
Yeah,
something.
but I believe that at that time it mostly was the father who decided
Yeah.
what his child would have married with who.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering.
That's a good question. Actually, it's a very good question. Sarah and William married on September 30th, 1862, and they had one child, Annie Bartley Winchester. She was born on July 12th, the 12th of July, 1866. But sadly, Annie passed away 40 days later due to an infantile disease known as marasmus.
No.
You have heard of marasmus?
During the research.
During
yes.
the research. So marasmus, for anyone if anyone doesn't know what marasmus is, marasmus is an infantile disease. A child who has marasmus isn't capable of retaining any food, I believe.
Yeah,
It doesn't get its energy out of the food.
Yeah, it's where the child isn't able to take in calories and proteins.
Yeah, it's a severe malnutrition of the body. So the body weight is reduced to less than 62% of the normal body weight at that age. So children really starve to death.
Yeah, basically. And I don't think back then was there something to do about it? Probably not.
Well, I've seen some ways to deal with it, but it's mostly trying to feed them, and if they aren't if they aren't retaining any calories and if they keep on having that malnutrition problem, they die.
Yeah,
It is very sad, but
it is.
they die. 1866 was obviously a sad year for Sarah and William, and they actually vowed to not have any children anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So they lived together happily until 1880, which was the year that Oliver passed away, left the company to William. William was groomed to be his successor, so that's the reason why it passed to him and not to his sisters.
Mm-hmm.
But William wasn't the owner of the company for very long, because a year later, in 1881, he passed away after a long battle from tuberculosis. So that year, she lost her mother. Apparently her mother died as well, her father-in-law and her husband. After these tragic events, Sarah contacted a medium so she would be able to contact her dead husband and her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, and I think that's very difficult for me because I think it's so disgusting. My blood boils when I found this out. The medium told her that she was cursed and haunted by the ghosts of the people who died from the Winchester rifles.
Yes.
So that medium told her if she didn't want to lose her own life, she would have to build a house for herself and the ghost, and she could never stop building. Once she finished building that house, she would die.
Yes, exactly. We're thinking the same thing.
Yeah, we're thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of those televangelists that you see on television. I mean, we don't see them because we're not lunatics, but in some parts of America, you see these people on TV preaching and going around, oh, I can cure your cancer, just donate, believe in the Lord.
Yeah, that type
of
stuff. Yeah.
It really gets, man, I get so mad.
I get it, because I wonder, like, of course, is it true, like, that the medium really said it like that? We don't know. So I think this is not, I didn't read this, it's my personal
thoughts.
Not opinion, thoughts, yeah. The medium was probably, quote unquote, in contact with the ghosts, maybe possessed, and it was the ghosts who said that, you know, like, we were killed by the rifle, you need to build the house, blah blah blah. But I mean, that is of course if you believe that ghosts communicate like that.
Yeah.
As mentioned in previous episodes, I do believe in ghosts. I do not believe that a ghost can really possess a living human body like that to give such a big message. I'm skeptical about that. So in my beliefs, it is indeed the medium who said, like, instead of just reassuring her to live a comfortable life, he was like, nuh-uh, you gonna build, you're cursed.
Yeah.
Like,
Sarah was a woman who was very traumatized by the events of, let's even say, the last 20 years, losing your daughter, losing your father-in-law, then losing your husband and your mother. That grief,
that's a lot.
That made her,
that's a lot.
That left her mark on her. We know that by the actions that she takes with building the house. She was not mentally stable.
No.
We can be 100% certain with that. She was not mentally stable. That medium preyed on her. That medium might have done that with good intentions. And by saying those, I mean, it sounds really bad, but those people, I mean, the people who go on TV and cure people with cancer, the people who go on TV and say, I can talk to someone who has passed recently, I hear an M, does someone know someone who died with an M in their name? Marie?
Yeah.
So, oh, my mom's name Marie and she passed last year. Those people,
I get what you mean.
They just tell their victims, because there are victims, and it might not have been a serious crime, but there is a victim in this situation. They tell their victims what they want to hear, and in a twisted way, that specific medium probably thought that she wanted to hear that. And I think that's so fucked up.
Indeed. I feel like she was so smart. She probably could have done so much more. I don't feel like, I mean, maybe it was her dream to build a big mansion. She was like, I'm rich now, what do I do?
Yeah, she had the money for it.
I'm gonna build a huge mansion that doesn't make sense and be all creative. I mean, if that's the case, good for her.
Yeah.
But if she actually felt like she was forced to build the house, that is not what she wanted to do with her life, then it's not okay.
It's not okay.
So, about building the house, the mystery house. In 1886, Sarah Winchester bought an unfinished 8-room farmhouse in San Jose, California. So, after the death of her husband, she moved all across the United States to get to California.
Yeah.
So, the house was surrounded by 40 acres of land. However, some sources say 160 acres of land, and I couldn't find which one was true. So I thought I'd mention both.
Let's mention both.
So yeah, that was perfect for Sarah to start building her mansion. She hired carpenters and other workers who started working on the house day in, day out. But she did not hire an architect. Or apparently she did, but they got in disagreements. But either way, she came up with every design herself, and of course with the help of the ghost, but more info on that later. This led to a 7-story high building, which has windows that look out to rooms instead of outside, rooms within rooms, a ton of fireplaces, stairways, and even 6 kitchens, and much more, of course.
Yeah.
The house is almost completely made out of many different types of wood, but apparently Sarah disliked the look of wood and ordered for most of the walls to be covered in a faux grain or many layers of paint. Sarah was also a big fan of then modern technology, and you can see that in the house as well.
Yeah, she had electricity installed.
Yeah, she had a lot of different things and even things she invented.
She had,
There was like, okay, so I saw this. I don't know if this was a thing back then or that she really invented it or made it a thing, I don't know. But there was like a shower and the water came from both sides of the wall. So it was like there were pipes all around the shower.
Yeah. Stall.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the water apparently came from all sides, but didn't wet the head.
Wow.
Because of course back then, and even now actually, a lot of women disliked washing their hair often because they did crazy hairstyles.
Yeah.
You know,
took a long time.
Yeah, it took a long time. So back then, women didn't wash their hair sometimes for a week, 10 days, sometimes 2 weeks even.
Yeah.
And now a lot of women still don't wash their hair for a long time, especially
I did that as well.
for curly haired women.
As a young boy, as a teenager, I did that as well. But I was just too lazy to wash my hair.
That's a different thing.
It's very disgusting of me to say that.
But I mean, it could be a good thing. I only wash my hair once a week, or sometimes twice. It really depends, but mostly once a week.
I wash my hair every day.
I don't. My hair would fall out. It would be disgusting. I would have to shave my head, and it would look prettier than me washing it every day, basically.
I'm losing my hair. I'm 26 and
that's because you're washing it every day.
I should really look into that.
Yes, you should. That's honestly one of the reasons.
Yeah. Let's not talk about my
if you're
very
interested in hair,
male pattern baldness. Let's not.
Maybe we can do an episode about hair, but like not like fashion hair, but haunted hair, like
haunted hair.
Like for in Japan, a lot of the ghosts have long hair. Like, what does that mean? Maybe we can look into that.
We'll look into it.
Yeah.
We'll look into it. Hair monsters and hair demons.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, there was this shower that apparently was very unique, and it's still unique because you still don't see that today, which is like, to me, it's like that's such a cool shower. I want that in my house. It's so mind-blowing and so, like, it makes so much sense to me.
I mean...
Yeah, I love it. Just water from everywhere, like, yeah.
It's a weird concept, but if it works, it works.
Exactly. So yeah, she was into technology. Then in 1906, an earthquake struck the coast of northern California, and with many other destructions and sadly even many deaths, part of the Winchester house was also destroyed. The house was left with 4 stories, which is how we know the Winchester house today. This was proof for Sarah that she could never stop building.
I think that was something that the both of us might have misunderstood about the house being 7 floors or 4 floors high, is that it's probably not what we think about 7 floors, but probably 6 floors. How we look at floors is we start at 0, ground floor, and they'll go to 1, 2, 3, etc. In America, they start ground floor as 1. So
really?
what they see as 4 floors, in our opinion, would be 3 floors, because they have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have
of course.
ground floor 1, 2, 3.
Okay, but I actually was thinking in the American way then.
Ah, you were thinking?
Yeah.
I wasn't.
I was thinking in the American way.
I wasn't.
Oh.
You're obviously way smarter than I
am.
am.
No, I'm not smarter, but...
Yeah, let's just say you're smarter than I am.
No, I'm definitely not. But, no, that's what I was imagining. On the 5th of September 1922, Sarah Winchester passed away from congestive heart failure. She was 82 or 83 years old, depending on what source.
We're not exactly sure about her date of birth.
Exactly. The moment news spread about her death, construction of the house stopped. It is said that workers just dropped their tools, stopped working, and went home.
Yeah, that's normal, I think.
Well, normal, yes and no. I don't know. I feel like it almost feels like a statement. No? I
think that's really weird because she doesn't have any children. She doesn't.
But I mean, still, like,
there's no.
They would get paid, right? I mean, if it were in today's environment.
Yeah, they were probably paid already. So maybe. I don't really see the point of them continuing.
Yes, of course, maybe.
And I know that after her death, I believe her estate went on to her niece.
Yes, I did read something about it, but I didn't went into too much detail.
So I think her wealth and her house went to her niece.
And she, soon after...
Yeah, soon after she passed. Yeah. So if those construction workers would have just kept on working, I mean, you're not really sure if the niece will then say, yeah, good job guys, let's keep building, or
probably
I
not.
didn't give no instructions for you to continue, so I'm not gonna pay you for the amount of time you.
Yes, maybe.
I mean, it's
I
a
didn't think of it
situation.
that way. Okay, but I get it more now. Okay. So the now already famous mansion was sold and soon after reopened as a tourist attraction. In 1974, it was added to the National Register of Historic Places and it became a historical landmark.
It is a very beautiful house.
It is. I saw
all the pictures.
A lot of pictures.
It's
wow.
Such a beautiful house.
And on the website, you can even take a look inside, like it's sort of
the website of the
Winchester House. Yes,
itself.
Exactly. Like it's sort of a visual tour. Is that how you call it?
Yeah, virtual tour. Probably.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly.
Oh, that's actually very cool.
Yeah, not the entire house, of course, but
the main areas.
Yeah, exactly. So that was
cool. When we go to California on our trip to America, we should definitely go to the Winchester House.
If that were to ever happen, yes, obviously.
And they do tours.
They do tours
at day for seeing the house, and they also do tours at night.
I think so. Well, a lot of YouTubers go at night, and it's always with a tour guide, and if they requested, the tour guide can leave as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's perfectly possible. Probably a lot more expensive though if you want to go at night alone. But it's possible.
Would you be interested in doing a tour of an old prison, perhaps?
Of course, I'm open for any tours. Day, night, I don't give a crap.
I mean, we're allowed to curse.
I know, but I try to not to.
It's not a fucking problem.
Okay, then fucking mate. I try to reduce my amount of cursing because I work at a kids store and I curse too much, I feel like.
Who gives a shit about those little rats?
I do! Okay, but anyway. Yeah, no, I'm always open for tours, even in the night, as long as I have a flashlight. Because I am scared of the dark.
Man, I want to be scared so bad.
You want to be scared?
Yeah, I want to be scared so bad. One of these tours.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, you don't go touring a haunted building or haunted prison and not want to see something.
Yeah, of
Right?
course.
That's the
That
whole
would be
point of it.
disappointing.
Yeah, that would be very disappointing. Okay.
But
Keep going.
anyway, to sum up a few details of the house in total is 24,000 square feet. It has 10,000 windows,
That's a lot.
2,000 doors,
That's also a lot.
160 rooms.
Is it 160 rooms or is it 600 rooms?
Well, apparently there were 600 rooms, even though this is not confirmed. This is just a
A
speculation.
rough estimation.
But after the earthquake and a lot of remodeling of the house, it turned out to be 160 rooms.
Yeah,
But there was
it's-
never proof that there
Yeah.
were actually 600 rooms.
Yeah.
It was something that was said.
Okay.
So,
But 160 rooms is still a lot.
and actually 161 that I will.
Okay.
That's for later.
Okay.
52 skylights, 47 stairways, 17 chimneys, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens, 3 elevators, and it was built at a price tag of $5 million, which would be $71 million today.
That's a lot of money,
That's
but
a lot.
there are houses that cost that much money.
I think there are not many.
The big Hollywood houses and like the big expensive.
But 71 is like really a lot.
Yeah, but if you buy a building in New York,
Yeah, of course,
You'll
yeah, if
probably
you buy
get-
the entire
yeah.
bill. Yeah, that's true.
obviously.
Sarah also seemed to be a fan of the number 13. And you can see this coming back in the house. Besides the 13 bathrooms, there are
Yeah.
also 13 bedrooms. Several stairs have 13 steps. Some ceilings have 13 tiles. And one of her precious Tiffany glass pieces was made by 13 different precious stones.
So the numbers come back.
Yes, exactly. According to Mary Jo Ignoffo, who wrote the first full-length biography of Sarah Winchester called Captive of the Labyrinth, Sarah L. Winchester, heiress to the rival fortune, there were periods where construction on the house did stop, so they weren't building around the clock for 38 years.
Oh yeah.
This was confirmed by letters that Sarah wrote.
Ah, okay. I was under the impression that construction never stopped.
Exactly, that is what most sources say, but I actually found this, so... And
Yeah.
it was confirmed by letters that Sarah wrote, so I guess it counts as proof.
Yeah.
Ignoffo also wrote that after the earthquake of 1906, instead of rebuilding, Sarah decided to block off some passageways, resulting in doors and stairways that went nowhere.
Okay. But that's for the ghosts. It was supposed to be for the ghosts. The blocked off passageways.
To confuse them and
Yeah,
everything.
to
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of them are also because she was just like, I'm not rebuilding it. Like,
Okay. If you don't want to spend any more money.
because in 1906 she was already like 70 something, somewhere in
Yeah,
her 70s, I
60,
guess, 60,
70,
70.
yeah.
I mean, she probably wants some peace,
Yeah.
The house is said to be haunted, obviously. Sarah Winchester believed this herself. As said before, it is said she believed the ghosts of the people who fell victim by a Winchester rival were haunting her.
Yeah.
Sarah herself used to communicate with spirits in the house in the so-called seance room. The ghosts gave her instructions on how to design the house.
This was daily, right?
I guess it was at 2 a.m. in the evening, is what I read.
2 a.m. in the evening.
In the morning, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, at night, it doesn't sound logical if I say in the morning, but I mean in the night. But I don't know if it was every day. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, it would be a lot if it was every day.
I mean, yeah, indeed. But at the same time, the ghosts gave her instructions on how to design the house. But at the same time, it is also said that she built the house in the way to confuse and distract the ghosts.
Yeah.
It is also said, I guess by visitors later on, that the spirit of a former caretaker named Clyde is roaming the halls. With that, many more hauntings have been reported by people who visited the house. Of course, I watched a few YouTube videos and I wanted to share this particular scene from BuzzFeed Unsolved Network's video. And I'm going to show a part to you, and the people can listen to it.
Yeah, I guess you want me to listen to this audio.
Yes,
And
exactly.
tell you what I hear.
Exactly.
Okay.
The audio is like, it's only 3 seconds. Oh, you don't need to do that. It's really obvious. What did you just hear?
A woman in heels.
Walking in the basement, right?
Yeah.
You saw the basement.
Yeah.
The 2 men from BuzzFeed Unsolved Network were the only people in the house at that time.
Yeah. There shouldn't have been anyone.
They were not even in the basement. They set up a camera there, and they were in the attic at the time of the recording. Yes.
Okay, that shit's crazy.
That's crazy, right? If that is real, which I think it is.
Well, it does sound like a woman wearing heels walking around.
So if that's real,
but
then that's.
I always try to be logical about those things again. So I sort of noticed it was a very short audio fragment.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a 5-minute clip that we saw. It was 3 seconds, I believe.
Yeah.
The sound really sounded very localized. It didn't sound like someone walking from one room to the next one.
No.
It sounded like someone standing still and clacking their heels. Could it have just been a pipe or something that just made like a boiler that's repeatedly doing the same noise for a few seconds and then stops?
It really sounds like footsteps.
It does, however, really sound like footsteps.
Heels make a very specific sound.
That's also true. It really sounded like heels.
So yeah,
I'm just trying to give it a logical explanation.
I know, but I thought that was pretty crazy because of all the other things I saw. And I'm not gonna say I watched every YouTube video out there from the Winchester house, but from the other things I saw, it were like the typical knocks. And I mean, it's a gigantic wooden house. Of course, there's gonna be knocks. Like,
obviously.
Duh.
That's just how wood reacts to settlements.
Exactly. And then, of course, the spirit box. But even with that, as far as I saw, I mean, I've seen a lot of videos with spirit boxes, and a lot of the times you get logical answers. For example, the time that we got John and Alexis as an answer. The answer that I saw in these videos, they weren't very logical. I was like, nah, this is
You're just hearing things.
Yeah. So is the house haunted? I mean, I guess it probably kind of is in a way. I mean,
if any house is haunted, that one probably would be.
Yeah, but I have yet to find. I want to discover the proof myself. I want to go there.
Discover
one
it
day.
once we decide to ask multi-million-dollar franchise-owning famous podcasters
when we get to that point
to go there and look for it.
All right. Sarah apparently believed that the earthquake in 1906 was caused by the ghosts that lived in her house. During the earthquake, she found shelter in one of the many rooms, but after the earthquake was over, she became superstitious about the room and decided to have it permanently closed with like wooden bar, hammer, nails, tick, tick, tick.
Yeah. Close it off.
This room wasn't discovered again until actually only a few years ago, in 2016, when workers were doing restorations of the house.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
That's
only 5 years ago.
That makes me think,
there
be more rooms?
Probably.
Let's go. Once we go, let's just start knocking on the walls. Just
imagine us finding another room.
Oh my god, that would be so crazy.
Indeed. In this room itself, there was a mannequin, some sewing machines, art pieces, an organ, like not a body organ, but
the instrument.
Yeah, because wasn't I the one who was confused about that last time? A Victorian sofa, a weird doll, and some other objects. The items are now on display for visitors to watch. And this wasn't the first time a secret room was discovered. Back in 1975, another room was opened for the first time since Sarah's death. And in that room, there were a few chairs and a speaker from around the 1900s.
I think that's so cool. That's a time capsule.
That is.
It's a room that hasn't been visited in 100 years.
I know.
More than 100 years.
Crazy, right?
It's absolutely crazy. I would love to just find a room. It's just a time capsule. Time is at a standstill there.
Yep.
Wow.
It is.
That would be so exciting.
It would be. It definitely would be.
Yeah.
I kind of hope that, like, I just recently bought a house, and I don't know, we still have to move there, but I hope that we find something that's hidden that we didn't see yet. Not necessarily a secret room, but like a secret something. I love secrets. We should do an episode of secrets. In 2018, a movie was made about the house.
Yeah.
The movie was named Winchester and was really badly received by the public.
I've seen that as well.
You watched the movie?
I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen that it was badly received.
I watched the movie.
You did watch the movie?
I watched the movie because I love horror movies, as in psychological thrillers.
You didn't watch it with me?
No. Not slasher movies. I don't like slasher movies. I like psychological thrillers, so I decided to give this movie a try, even with the bad reviews. You're not sad that you didn't watch it, believe me. So, a little spoiler alert here. I'm not gonna give too much spoilers, but if you want to watch the movie, skip like a minute ahead, just to not get spoiled. I have to say, I thought it was interesting that it starts at the perspective of the doctor / psychologist that was supposed to analyze Sarah to see if she was still fit to run the company, or like half of it. And it also started with a few jump scares, which initially scared me, as in literally jump scared me, but it didn't scare me as in I was afraid to watch it.
Yeah,
it was just like
cheap horror tricks.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god, like okay, didn't expect that,
and that frightened you for a bit. Yeah.
That was it, like okay. And I didn't finish watching it because I thought it was really boring.
Okay.
I was very disappointed in the way they made the movie. To me, it seems they wanted to focus on the scary ghosts part of the story and not so much on Sarah herself.
Yeah.
Which is sad because her story to me is very fascinating and I feel like they could have done so much more. I thought it would be interesting to start a movie. Like imagine this, if someone like wants to remake the movie, like I got ideas.
Here's your script.
I got ideas.
Yeah.
Imagine a movie that starts with Sarah, she has her husband, her child, all's good, and then tragedy falls upon her, like it did in real life. Then she came in contact with the medium, and she starts building the house, and that's where the creepy things start. I love horror movies where everything is happy at first, and everything, we're a perfect family.
A perfect happy family.
And then all of a sudden there's like,
something happens.
Something's wrong. Something happened. Something's wrong. Something's not right. I like that. Like the how do you say that? The contrast between happiness and then the scary things. The small build up to the scary part. That's what I love. And in this movie, it was just like, la 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 la. It's creepy. It is a creepy woman that you need to analyze. Bam! Jump scare. Okay, doctor is actually on drugs and having like, is this movie about the house and Sarah, or is it about the doctor? No offense to the doctor, I guess, but
so how 2 out of 5 stars? 1 out of 5 stars?
2 out of 10 stars,
okay.
Which is 1 out of 5 stars.
But 5 stars.
Okay, 1 out of 10 stars then.
Okay, 1 out of 10.
Okay, no, I'm gonna give 3 stars because I don't want to be disrespectful to the actors who did a good job.
Helen Mirren, I presume?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she is a very talented actress.
They all did a great job, but the script was not.
It was just the story wasn't
exactly.
there.
So yeah, they all just wanted to scare people and didn't do the real and tragic part of the story justice. I feel like we already have enough bad horror movies, and they could have done so much better with this one.
Yeah.
But don't let this hold you back from watching it. I would love to hear other people's opinions. Who knows? I might still watch the end of the movie after all.
I have a movie we could watch.
Oh.
Maybe this week or next week. I know a movie we could watch.
You want to go to The Conjuring 3 in the movie theater, right?
No.
Oh.
I don't want to do that cheap
okay,
horror.
because I'm already... Excuse me? I'm a big fan of The Country.
I mean, okay.
And I'm already going to watch it. I was going to invite you with us, but now you can't come now.
Okay. Sure. If you want me to come, I'll come with the... But it's actually another movie I wanted to talk to you about. It was actually a recommendation from someone on Instagram.
On our
Instagram.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I sort of hid it from you.
Oh.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Let's look at a movie called Mr. Vampire.
Mr. Vampire.
Yeah. It's a movie from 1985. And it's an old Chinese kung fu movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about the Jiangxi.
Oh.
And about the Taos. It's all about the Jiangxi.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a fun thing for us to just have a silly movie night.
It would be. Okay, nice. That's on our list then. Voilà.
Oh, and it's a recommendation. Itatai on Instagram gave us that recommendation.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
If you have another movie you would like us to see, Itatai, just hit us up. You have our Instagram.
Exactly. And to the others who would like to maybe give a recommendation for a movie or another subject or something, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They Come Before Dawn. You can send us an email, TheyComeBeforeDawnPod@gmail.com, and you can find us on our brand new website. It's still a work in progress, be warned, but it's there.
Yeah.
And the website.
You did a great job from the website, I believe.
Thank you. I used a template, but
you did a great job.
I did, yeah.
What's the address?
The website is TheyComeBeforeDawn.wixsite.com/podcast.
We'll put it also in our links. We have a link tree. We'll put it there.
Exactly. So yeah, that was it for the Winchester House. Yeah?
That was such an interesting story.
It was. It was so fascinating. I have no more words than what I have already said. It was fascinating. Sarah Winchester was smart, fascinating, and I feel like she was a genius. You can say she was crazy. I think she was genius.
What I like about this being the 4th episode and the things that we looked into at the moment is that you always gravitate towards the supernatural part of it. Mm-hmm. You always gravitate towards the stories and in this situations, the hauntings and the house itself. And I always try to sort of look at it more in a historical way, look at it more in a different cultural way, and
we're getting like a pattern.
Yeah, we're getting a pattern, and I think that's very fun. I hope that our listeners think that as well.
I hope you do.
So let us know what you guys think about it, and we're very interested in knowing your opinions about it.
Exactly. So I think that's it for tonight's episode.
Yeah, I think it's a good point to end it.
Exactly. Thank you so much for listening, and
have a good night.
Bye. Till the next one.
Next time on They Come Before Dawn. December 1st, 1948. In Adelaide, South Australia, a body is found sitting on the beach. In his possession are found a mix of random items, but also a little note with a mysterious message on it. In our next episode, we will be talking about one of Australia's biggest mysteries, the mystery of the Somerton Man.